I get a call from my battalion, and he says, "Hey, CID just called, and they're asking about you. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Get a lawyer." Hello everybody, Terrence Popp here with another episode live from the Lair. Alright, these stories are between the years 2013 and 2018. Alright, so the last episode I talked about female commanders. I'm going to go into more detail into the my final female commander, and she was a piece of work. Now, she was not quite as bad as Dina, but a lot of the same tricks and methods were used by Lieutenant Colonel Ski, and she was fairly attractive for an older woman who smashed through the wall. She wore a wig. It was weird. She smoked a lot. She was like 5'7", and maybe she, weighed in at like 135-ish, plus or minus 5 pounds. I've always been pretty good at height and weights because I used to fight professionally. So, that and, never forget a face, and I could pick a face out of the crowd. That's sniper training, but that's either here or there. But up there, when she came back from deployment, it took about 60 days for the spank box to get fucking cranked up, and holy shit, did it get fucking crazy. Let's see, there were several rumors of some hanky-panky between her and individuals in the unit, like one particular NCO and I believe one captain. And I remember, because we were 70 miles away from the flagpole, and every once in a while, people would come down from battalion, and they'd either need a piece of equipment, or they'd have to inspect something, or sign some paperwork, whatever. Sometimes you have to sign shit in person. And I remember I was in the room, and I walk in to the supply room, and the 2 supply sergeants are in there, and they're talking about this crazy fucking bullshit. Apparently there was a camera with some pictures on it. And as soon as I heard that, I did a 180 and walked the fuck out of the room. Because if there's an investigation, which there was, and people ask me if I heard anything or if I experienced anyone talking about or contributing to the rumor control, I could look them in the face and say no, and not be lying, because I didn't want to get caught up in that. I'd already dealt with a fucking toxic female commander a couple years prior to this, and I knew, I got away with it the first time. I outmaneuvered her because she was the first one, Lieutenant Colonel Dina, because she was unwise, and she acted, irrationally based off of emotions. And I write about that in my book, The Warrior's Way and the Soldier's Soul. If you operate in an anger mind, at best, you will only operate in 2 dimensions. If you operate in the hate mind, you will operate at one. You'll be a one-dimensional thinker. And if you're calm, cool, collected, use logic and reason, and are able to emotionally step back and observe everything objectively, you can outmaneuver, people who are angry and hateful all day long without question. And a lot of times it's so fucking easy. But yeah, she jumped in my shit a few times. I told you last episode. And what happened towards the end of there is I think it's still going on. It's this huge investigation for the AR RAP program, or the NG RAP program. And what that was a program that they brought into place, I think, at the end of 2006, and it went to like 2010. And you basically, you took like a 15-minute class, so you get a name of somebody who wants to join the service. You interview them, you get their soc, you plug them into the system and hook them up to a recruiter, and if they go in the Army, you get like $2,000. I thought I followed the rules. I didn't do anything underhanded, and apparently the rules had changed like 5 or 6 times over a 3 or 4 year period. And not once did you have to retake the training to get caught up to the new rules. I probably put 12 to 13 people into the service a year, and probably 3 to 5 people into the Army Reserves, active Army program. My name came up. Apparently they were going down the list investigating all the people who participated in the whole AR rep fucking program. So I'm on AGR status. My ass basically belongs to the Army. There's nothing I can do. And I got a couple of heads up warnings from some people that I had put into the service. It started like a year before the actual knocked on my door, but I had 5 or 6 guys call me that I put in the service, and they're like, hey man, CID called us, they're asking questions about you. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Watch your 6, because this is going to get fucking ugly, I can guarantee you. And, they were right. There's basically, the company that was running the ARRAP and GRAP and active duty fucking recruiting thing, they were shut down. There was a lot of their fucking database was fucking compromised. They didn't have all the fucking shit. And I get a call from my battalion, and he says, hey, CID just called and they're asking about you. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Get a lawyer. So that's exactly what I did. I got a civilian attorney. Now, I tried to get a hold of JAG and have them, help me out. And I'm going to be honest with you. The JAG in the Army doesn't give a fuck about just the regular soldiers at all. They're there to represent the commanders so they could fucking legally screw over the lower enlisted guys. Because in all my fucking 30 plus years in the military, I have never ever seen anything good happen when JAG got involved in anything, period. So, and on a side note about JAG, I run secondclasscitizen.org. I've talked to thousands of veterans and soldiers since 2008. I probably have heard somewhere between 100 and 200 stories of JAG officers representing soon-to-be ex-wives of soldiers in civilian clothes out on the economy. Now, I don't know why that's allowed to take place. It's happening probably not to a super big degree, but a lot of these JAG officers, they basically do their 4 years so they can get law school and all their student debt paid for, and then they leave the service and slip into the economy and work as attorneys, debt-free. And who knows, maybe they were, trying to get into a firm, and they're at the end of their contract with the Army, and they wanted to make that transition right over into attorney. Now, that's no excuse. I'm just telling you that's why I think it was probably happening. I don't know. I got, they said I had to go down to Fort Drum, and, I'd already talked to my attorney, and he said, listen, you haven't talked to anybody? I said, no. He goes, all right, you're going to go down to Drum? Because you can't say no, because you're an AGR soldier, and, they have their hooks in you. You're going to walk in there, they're going to probably take your prints, take your picture, and then they want to review a bunch of shit with you. Okay, when they pull out the file, you just say, I don't want to say anything. You can talk to my attorney. So that's exactly what I did. I drove my fucking ass. It's like 111 miles once you take all the turns and shit to get up to Fort Drum. I had the number to the CID agent because he had left it with my battalion commander. So I call him on my cell phone. I'm in the PX at Drum. I say, hey, I'm at Drum. Where you at? And he just, he gave me the building number, and I'm like, look, bro, I am not stationed on drum. I have no fucking idea where you are. I am at the main PX in the parking lot towards the back by the pizza cart thing. He's like, all right, I'll be there in 10. Rolls in there in his pickup truck. It's an E5. And he just says, hey, follow me to the station. I follow him back in there, park my car, walk in there. You know, I empty all my shit into a hat, put it into a locker, go back in there, and I basically say, before we even get started, I have nothing to say. They said, roger that. Took my picture, took my prints, you know, and gave me his card and sent me out the fucking door. Now, I didn't hear anything after that for 6 months. I'm fucking pretty fucking flipped out over the whole fucking thing. Because, you know, I've spent all that time in the fucking army, and I've quite literally could wind up doing 2 years in jail, dishonorable discharge, and all that shit. Even though I didn't fraudulently, you know, willingly fraudulently do anything wrong. I was just following the rules. I put a lot of people into the service legitimately. You know, I mean, that's what I used to do. I mean, I used to be a mortgage guy. I used to sell VA loans. You know, I was good at sales, and this was just another fucking sale. It comes down from, you know, big army that you know, I'm at fault, and they're gonna basically kick the whole thing back down to the brigade commander, who was a full bird colonel. So a lot of people told me that that's not really a big deal. You know, they kicked it down to a colonel, not a general, because if it goes to a general, it's an automatic you know, letter of reprimand from the general and a negative nastygram in your permanent file. So I'm like, fuck, okay. So my attorney, you know, calls up there to the CID and the attorney that was at the brigade. And they basically tell my attorney that they're not going to send him the fucking records unless he signs the non-disclosure agreement, which means they can send him the fucking file, but he can't even fucking talk to me about what the fuck is in the file. So I don't even know what I'm dealing with. I have no way to fucking defend myself other than just to tell the fucking truth, which I did. But before I did that, I went online and I got all of the court transcripts when they deposed the CEO, COO, and one of the operators. Like, he was in the top 5 in the company. And, you know, I went through the whole thing and I highlighted, you know, all of the fucking double speak and double standards and I don't knows and, you know, this wasn't put out and blah, blah, blah. You know, then I put my financial planner license number, you know, because I know what wire fraud is. I know what all that shit is, and I did not do that. And I just, you know, and also I put in some of my marketing material that I actually used to, you know, get in front of all of these soldiers to sell them the fucking army. I had a business card, I had a whole pamphlet, the whole fucking deal. And I just wrote it up, told the fucking truth. And, you know, I sent it up to the, well, first I emailed it twice. I emailed it to the actual battalion, brigade commander. I emailed it to his JAG representative. Didn't hear anything. Then I made a hard fucking copy. I call on the phone up to brigade. I talked to, I think they're S2. I ran into him in the past a couple times. He's a good guy. And I said, listen, I'm going to send you a box, and it needs to go to the brigade commander. Put it on his desk. Make sure he sees it, and then call me back to acknowledge that he got it. So it's a 3-rig binder. It's like 2 inches thick with all of my fucking, you know, transcripts and all my evidence and all that shit and my fucking statement in there. And I put it in a box, I run to FedEx, boom, send it to fucking brigade. The next day, the S2 calls me, says I got the box on my fucking desk, and I'm walking it right into the brigade commander's office right now, because he's in, and, you know. So 10 minutes later, he calls me back, and he says, he took the binder, looked at it, said, oh, okay, the response from Terrence Popp. Like, he never even fucking checked his email. So my whole fucking career is ready to get kicked through the goalposts for the final fucking, you know, point to fucking slam dunk my ass into fucking, you know, oblivion. And he hadn't even fucking downloaded my fucking email. But, luckily he got the fucking hard copy. 2 weeks later, I get the fucking call from my battalion commander that I need to come up there for the execution of findings. So I'm like, okay. So I'm up there, I'm like, okay, there's only two things that's going to happen. It's going to go in my local file, which means everyone knows it's bullshit. And when I fucking leave this place, they're going to shred it, and that's the end of it. Or it's going to go in my fucking permanent file, and I'm royally fucked. Probably gonna fucking, wind up getting kicked out of the army. So I'm sweating bullets. I walk in there, and the JAG is there, and he fucking just says, but the brigade commander's finding says he wants it put in your local file. I was like, holy shit. Now, if I'd actually got the actual investigation and all of the fucking, evidence from CID, I probably could have wrote a better response that would have got it completely just thrown away right there on the spot. But all things being equal, I think it worked out to my favor. So I'm tempted to fucking get an attorney and fucking start take the CID into federal court for not following. For violating my constitutional rights because I wasn't given due process and that whole thing. By denying me the right to see the fucking file, fuck that. That's bullshit.
Hello there, Brotherhood of the Traveling Teabag. Because YouTube won't let us monetize any videos with Shotgun Rebellion's music, I'm going to show you Jesse Jane's tits while I tell you that you can support these pop-loving patriots by clicking the links in the description below. Subscribe to their channel, watch their music videos, and show these bearded badasses some love.
That's probably the only time I ever saw, Lieutenant Colonel Ski actually smile. And she basically said, Pop, we knew this is a bunch of bullshit. You're not that kind of guy. You're stand-up dude. You don't fucking do sneaky shit. We were all shocked that this was happening. But, it's pay grades above me. There's nothing I could do. I was like, okay, whatever. I mean, I know the battalion commander could have picked up the phone and called the brigade commander and said, hey, fucking, what the fuck, but I don't think she did that. I think it was the fact that I sent that complete packet up there to my buddy at brigade and got it put right in front of the fucking brigade commander's face. I think that saved my ass there. But, it goes to show if you're going to fucking do any kind of violence, either physical, mental, or administrative, minimum 3-prong attack, baby. One of them's gonna get through. Oh, yes, memories. Ah, shit. Yeah, K-Pock is not a very good command. All I can say. Alright, talked about the ARAP investigation. Alright, so I'd already been there for a few years. And we've been fucked over by Fort Drum, canceling ranges and shit like that a few times. So we just said, you know what, fuck this. We're going to find another place to do our fucking ranges and ATs at. So we actually tracked down a place. It's called Fort Devens. And it's actually an Army Reserve National Guard post. Has all kinds of cool-ass ranges on it. Very clean. Very laid back. It was fucking awesome. So, I roll down there with my 2 supply guys. We do a recon. We talk to the people we're supposed to, talk to. The people who run range control. One of them is an old 12th group guy from back in the day. Great dude. I never actually met him face to face before that, but I've heard his name mentioned before because SF is, pretty small circles. And, they told us how to get out of the what to do with the ammo and the dunnage and the ASP and all that other horse shit, and it worked out pretty good. And we stayed in these really good barracks. They were kind of like I wouldn't say it was quite a hotel, but it was pretty good. I mean, it had Wi-Fi, the whole deal. It didn't have AC, but fuck it, you open the fucking window, you're fine. You're not gonna die. Well, while we're there, one of our Humvees decides to say, fuck it. I'm going to quit working. I'm going to overheat. Some shit fucking went on. Fuck it. Not working it. Fuck you. So, Fort Devens we're like 250, 300 miles away from Utica. We can't tow that Humvee back with a tow bar that far. So we had to basically take all of our shit out of it, leave it in place, and we're going to come back and get it at another point in time. Well, apparently that point in time was a fucking year later when we went there the next year for AT to pick up the fucking vehicle. And apparently there was some kind of snafu because they're in another state, and then we had to give money transferred to like one of the maintenance facilities that was close by, and they came and got the vehicle and they fixed it at their maintenance facility and then drove it back and parked it where we left it, and then it just took fucking a year. I mean, that's bureaucracy for you right there. It's bullshit, but that's the way it is. All right, now I had 2 supply sergeants. Both of them turned out to be fucking very, very good. One of them was Country Bumpkin, who back in his early days liked to trap and sell pelts and that kind of shit, which I found quite fascinating. He spent a lot of time out in the woods. That was his deal. He was good. The second supply sergeant, who showed up about a year and a half into my tour, I remember they're like, "Hey, you're getting a new supply guy." And I remember I'm like, "Supply guy or supply sergeant?" And they're like, "Nah, he's just an E4. He's never been on active duty. This is his first AGR tour." And I'm like, fuck! I don't fucking need this. I need a supply sergeant. I don't need to train fucking people. God damn it! But there's nothing I can do. I'm not gonna fucking make phone calls and get people, fuck with people's assignments unless I'm specifically asked to. So, which I wasn't, and I wasn't gonna fucking put the kibosh on this guy because your first AGR tour, it's very important. You learn how shit is done, or you're done. If you fuck it up, and you're not gonna be allowed to continue on. So he shows up, and he's an E4. I give him the walkthrough, tell him the deal. I have the other supply sergeant basically, manning his desk and this other supply guy's desk until I can get him promoted. So, I mean, literally, he was in my, he shows up. I have him in front of a fucking promotion board in 90 days. We schooled him up really good, got him squared away. It took me 2 months after that, he got his E5. Finally, I had a supply sergeant. And, I fought with him mercilessly in the beginning, but, he took it like, he fucking gave as good as he got. I played a couple practical jokes on him. He fucking got me back. You can't get mad if you're going to play the practical joke game. I took it with a grain of salt. So did he. We all got along just fine. And then the Country Bumpkin guy, he gets his PCS orders and he gets sent, I think, to Wisconsin or some shit. And I hope he's fucking doing good. He had a little problem with passing tape because he had one of those Country Bumpkin bodies, and he was didn't really like to run. So either you don't eat, and you can probably get away with not running, or remain how you are and not run and have a fucking problem passing tape. There you go. But, it worked out really well. Can't really complain, Well, I know these stories are not as exciting as some of the other ones, but, it is what it is. This is the Army. You spend a lot of time in the Army, 95% of the time, what you do is monotony and boring. 2.5% of the time, raw excitement, and the other 2.5% of the time, it is fucking unadulterated terror and chaos. And I live for those moments. Anyway, gentlemen, I'll talk to you later.